Today, we're going to talk about boundaries, personal boundaries in relationships specifically. They're important. We probably don't realize how important, but just look around and you'll start seeing boundaries in a lot of places. For example, Great Wall of China, great physical boundary made to help the Chinese people feel safe. It's a barrier against unwelcome things, going into their environment. You want to go smaller in size? Go to the molecular level, and cells in our bodies, if they're unable to maintain their boundaries, they're more likely to be invaded by cancer cells. So, by the way, now that we're talking about boundaries, there's this thing called the Bednar-Meinhof illusion, phenomenon, something like that. But it means that when you're learning about something, or when you attach meaning to a topic like this, you will see it more often. Frequency illusion or frequency phenomenon, there's some kind of psychological term for that. But that's what happens. Boundaries are going to be great to notice more often. Right away, the importance of this. Long ago, the physical boundary of the Great Wall of China was placed to help protect the people in China from invasion. Boundaries are there to keep us safe. Consequences of unhealthy boundaries include feeling overwhelmed, burnout, high stress, depression, anxiety, all that stuff. In therapy, a lot of times people come in and will start identifying boundaries in their lives that aren't serving them well. Remember, with boundaries, the people back in China, they wanted to be safe. The Huns or whoever was trying to invade China, they weren't really into this whole boundary thing. Creating boundaries can be uncomfortable, but if it helps, just know that a lot of times people aren't like the Huns trying to invade you and hurt you. That's just the way that they know how to be in your vicinity. That's how you've taught them to behave. So a lot of times creating boundaries can be a little bit tricky. It can cause some disturbance. Ultimately, it needs to happen though, because like we talked about, boundaries keep you safe. What kinds of boundaries are there? Great question. I'm asking questions and then I'm answering questions like you're here. There's a lot of different types of boundaries when it comes to relationships. There's physical boundaries, there's emotional boundaries, there's communication boundaries, material boundaries, that's the enabling stuff when you're giving away your whatnot. There's sexual boundaries, time boundaries, we say communication boundaries. So a lot of different types of boundaries. Let's focus on the first one, because this is kind of a fun one. Physical boundaries in relationships. You have physical boundaries, right? You might not be aware of it. Totally there though. If you want to find out what someone's personal boundary range is, all you have to do is walk up to them and just get super close. And when they start fidgeting, you know that you've hit their personal boundary range, which is typically 1.5 to 4 feet. If you want to go closer, that's called the intimate boundary range. It's an intimate level of contact only meant for people who are close to you or animals, animals, right? We'll allow that kind of shenanigans with pets and stuff. But this is physical touch happening right now with in the intimate boundary range. But just know that it's from here to about 1.5 feet. Yeah, so there you have intimate boundary, first level of range for our physical, what we're comfortable with. The personal boundaries, the second range, 1.5 to 4 feet. Third range is a social boundary, 4 feet to 12 feet. This is where, we'll find ourselves gravitating towards if we're in a group. These are the kinds of people that I want to associate with. We'll keep them in our social network. Try to be close to them. We don't want them too far away. We like them nice and close. That's the social range in this physical boundary area topic that we're doing. The last, but not least, maybe it's the least, the last one is called the public boundary range. This is 12 feet and beyond. Obviously, we're all going to have to be flexible, because if we're on a bus and, within 12 feet, we can't really kick them off, can we? Maybe we can. You get the gist. You got to be flexible. All these boundaries are actually pretty flexible. Some people have really close personal space. like the close talker on Seinfeld. Other people have far away spaces. Some people, like myself, I don't like it when people put their hands on me. I'll just state what my boundary is, because people don't know. They're not trying to invade your area. That's just what they're used to on their boundaries. So a lot of this was going to be figuring out what other people's boundaries are, having them hoping that they're acceptable with your boundaries, and then just moving forward from there. So that is personal boundaries in relationships. It's pretty cool. If you want to find out more about it, check out the blog, the awareness blog on my website, www.meaningtolive.com. I'm glad you're here. Hope you learned something. And until next time, awareness up.